Welcome back to another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the private videos, questions, and comments and help you with your hot lineup decisions. Yesterday was a hot button topic about conspiracies in Hut, which I thought was actually really fun, and I want to keep talking on that a little bit because there were so many I didn't get to. I do, however, want to bring up a comment from another video that I saw, and this one's from Tyler. He says, everyone did nothing but complain that we would have 99s at the end of March and the game would be over. True, that's happened. I remember the worst example of this was 99 skating in NHL 20, I believe, at Christmas. Datsuk's MSP and Chara's 95 had like 99 speed and Chara had like 97. That was like the signifier of like, yo, this is a problem. And that's when they introduced the +5 or 0.5 to speed increase going forward for every overall. All people did was yap about it, and now they can't stop yapping about the slow progression. I talked about this in last week as well. Now, that being said, I do personally believe that they've taken the slow progression too far, and they've stripped content, like content days feel absolutely dead, even at the start of the game. X Factors feel stripped. Icons feel stripped, MSPs feel lazy and not impactful for the most part. Base cards released, there's basically nothing each content day. So I do think they have taken it too far. But at the same time, the fan base ran EA into the ground to make the game last longer. They've done that now, and it's a massive problem. It's purely an example of maybe not complaining about things and just enjoy what the game is, because when they do change things, you may not like it, and it may be worse than it was before. This is like the major line that, as a content creator or someone that has a community of players, passionate players, that you always walk, right? Because I'm in agreement here. This year's game, I was thinking about this. It is not wrong to want to have the game be improved. It's not. For example, for the last 5 years, I've banged the drum that that Hut needs a new mode. It needs something else to do in its cycle. We've had the same cycle. I think it was NHL 18, essentially. That was basically the same cycle of what you do. Like, online seasons was Rivals. And then we got Squad Battles. It was Champs, Squad Battles, Rivals, Repeat. Right? Like, that was it. Like, there was nothing else to do. And I was like, and myself and a lot of other people mentioned that a draft champs mode is what would be a great way to play. Okay. Wildcard was not draft champs. It's not what I or anyone else had intended. Wildcard was completely out of nowhere, and it does some things better than the ideas that we had and some things worse. And I think one-timer is not going in. If you go back and watch my videos about what I would do personally about gameplay, I would love to see one-timers go in again, because for 23 and 24, you could not score them. And I don't mean like the D-to-Ds. I'm talking like Ovechkin in the face-off circle would not score a D-to-D one-timer. Ever since they put the EASHL goalie animations into the goalie pool, so like AI goalies will actually do what EASL goalies can do, and it just stopped all one-timers. Now, did I want them to put in a big green, arcadey type thing that has the shots going faster than, Ally afraid he could shoot, or Zdeno Chara? No, right? This is like the problem, is that like they seem to be implementing change that a lot of the base ideas we want, but it's like not done correctly. No, I don't want to say correctly. It's not done in the way that people are asking for it. For example, if they would ever bring back GM Connected, this is an example that I would have. It's like, we want GM Connected. They put GM Connected in, and it's only it's like playing online seasons, where it's like you play the season, then your mode is over. Like, that's what is an example of them doing stuff that we want, but it's not the way that we want it, right? And I do agree, but the thing that you're not taking into account here, Tyler, is that there are a lot of things that get changed every year because people complain and get fixed. Like, a lot. And you don't see them because, you're like, finally the AA did it, right? You're focusing on the negative, and everyone focuses on the negative all the time. That's why I try and bridge the gap between negative and positive, and try to have an impactful conversation that we can just, like, go back and forth on, right? So it's a very fine line. I do think content is majorly stripped. That I'm 100% in agreement. I think that cards that are released are far more useful than they've ever been. So if you go back to NHL 20, a normal content day, 5 days a week, might have 40 cards in it. Might have 40 cards in the release, right? But maybe 3 of them were useful, right? You can't argue that the 20 cards released yesterday, there's some 91s and things like that, and cards that wouldn't make God squads. But again, 90% of the player base are not God squad type players, right? So there's the 96 Wilson and Rope Hints. I'm saying Rope. Someone was getting on me about saying Rupe. Hinson and Wilson, those are unreal cards. Like, those are better than a lot of MSPs that came out recently. And those, like, simply wouldn't exist on a Tuesday 5 years ago. But they don't show up in the auction house because EA's packs and the way that they do things, like, there's just never any on the auction house. And they're starting to do that a little bit. If you notice, they put a 95 plus pack in the store for 200 whatever K. That's not what, like, way too expensive, but people will buy it because it's available and they want to try a shot at the card. Like, let's say there's a Caps fan. They'll probably open it trying to get that Tom Wilson. They won't get it, but then those cards would end up on the auction house. I went and looked at the auction house. There was like 75, 95 and above cards as of right now. So maybe that's, maybe it's actually happening. All right, on to today's video from yesterday's questions. We'll start with Max. He said, 100% agree. Used to play a game every 2 weeks. Now I struggle to play more than 2. Something that I talked about is that when I was a kid or when I was younger growing up, in what I would consider the greatest era of video games, not trying to be like, in my day, things were great. It just, when they made video games, they were released, there was no day 0 patch, so the game had to be complete and good. That was it, right? And you would play tons of games. And now the way that the gaming industry has gone, it focuses on getting you addicted to the game, getting hooks into you, and you're just really stuck playing the same game over and over and over and over again because you don't feel like you can stop, right? Like, so you usually play like 1 or 2. And if you don't include yearly releases, what I said in the prior video was, how many years would you have to go back until you said I played 20 different games? And don't include the yearly same game re-release, like sports games, right? Like, I would, God, 20 games. I play video games for a living, and I would say like maybe 3-4 years, which is it's just crazy. The guy saying that we can't pull event cards through XP packs and rewards. It is true. I thought it was on purpose to make us buy event packs. I was already that much sure. I didn't see it as a conspiracy. So yesterday, someone had a conspiracy that event cards were not in packs. And I never thought about it because I don't pay attention to event cards. I pay attention to the 93, like making the 93. And once he said it and I read it, I'm like, man, I don't think so. Now, I want to be honest. Burt Crown sent me a video. He watched my video and he opened up a competitive pack. So like the good pack from Rivals, and he pulled a 92 Origins card. So the competitive pack has it in the pack pool. But XP packs and stuff like that, outside of maybe the best pack from Rivals or Squad Battles, I don't know. And that's kind of scummy. And I would love to, maybe just pay more attention to it because I don't. But I can't remember the last time I pulled an event item for the current event. Once the event's done, they're back in. Because that's how you get all the objectives done and free stuff. So if those cards were in the pack pool for like, XP cards and things like that, like, makes you think. EA literally made a moment about the Winter Classic in the United Center. How is EA lawfully allowed to name drop Wrigley Field and not actually use it? Also, why is Kairu number 33 in that moment? I don't know. And I think the name is okay because it's a place. You can't represent it with, like one of the issues that I know EA is running into, and I need to get this ironed out a little bit more. When I was in Seattle, I ran into Dave Pritchard, who is the presentation developer. He's been with EA for years. Does a really good job. One of the good ones. And I'd asked him, "Hey, how come in Hut it's not the center ice logo?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I explained to him like it's rival squad battles, or like you don't play with the normal arena. And he didn't realize that, so he went back and looked. And I wish I could go find the message, but it was something to do with like with not copyright law, but rights, like playing in huts because they sell an arena card, like they give out arena cards, right? The arenas aren't getting any money from that, so they don't want their arena represented in Hut, right? Like that's why a lot of it is blank. It's something along those lines. When I talk to the devs again, I'm gonna bring that up and ask because I'm gonna get the full answer. But there is something there about how like either the NHL like the teams or whatever, they didn't sign off on having their arenas represented in EA like they do. They used to. Because when you play a moment, that's the thing though. When you play moments, I believe the arenas are there. It's like when you play online, I don't understand why. That's the thing I couldn't understand. So, because the game looks so much better when you've got that logo in the middle of the ice. Consistency is 100% a hidden stat. It makes such a big difference when you make a goalie or a player. Tested the goalie, or unless simming is that bipolar, he simmed insane. Then a 1-2 is okay, and 0-2 is abysmal. It's literally for simming. What you just described, I'm almost positive that's how it works. So like when he 2 out of 2, it's like the goalie will stay or the players will stay with their attributes. 1 out of 2, it's like every other game they won't, and then 0 to 2, it's all over the place. There used to be a stat called poise, and for the longest time, that was the tinfoil hat theory, that if your card did not have a high poise stat, that they would play poorly. And I remember, this is my early days of being a game changer, and I remember going to Ben Ross. For anyone that's been around knows who that is. I went to Ben Ross and said, "Hey, what's the poise stat do?" And he was like, he couldn't give me an answer, which I was like, he was the gameplay dev. I don't know. So we went to the franchise guy. It's a sim only stat. Poise was a sim only stat in franchise mode, and it was just in Hut for years. So going back to the first question or the first thing of this video about how, people go too far and all of that, I remember going to EA and being like, "Hey, can you remove this stat from Hut because it doesn't do anything and it's just in the game. Get it out of there." And they got it out of there. I don't know if there's like the Ice Tilt one about conspiracies is always gonna be the biggest one. And the one that I do have is like in the final minute. I've had that since I first ever played online in NHL 06. Like when you are in the final minute, if a shot is on net that is even just half decent, I assume it goes in. And it's been like that. It was like a rubber band way to make the game more exciting artificially, right? Because it's like a last minute goal. But even then, like I don't want it to be true. I don't, because like in a video game, I don't want them to try and code in luck. I don't want that. It sucks. And I hope that isn't the case. So I just, there is games where it's not the speed. It's just puck skips over your stick, breakaway against. Pass has 0 pass assist when normally it does, fires it way out of the zone all the way down to your ice. Your goaltender gets stuck in a desperation state. Little things like there'll be times where I'm streaming and I'm losing and I'm playing very well, and I know it's just like I'm fighting the game. Not just my opponent, I'm fighting the game. And that does happen from time to time. There are a million sliders. If you play offline, it would not surprise me if like they go in. I don't think they can change mid-game. That's the thing. I don't think they can change mid-game. I don't know. Money or coins is the same for me. I get nothing good. I do agree the event cards not being in pack until after the event. Yep, I think so too. I hate that if you miss an event, you can't make an old MSP, which is really annoying. I hope they go back where you could make old MSPs. This really reminds me of sets and seasons in MLB The Show. Couldn't use old cards in the new season, and you had one wild card. Yep, I agree. This is clearly a tactic that they're using to try and get people to get some FOMO, fear of missing out, and buying packs for staying engaged. I think they really did not like year-long cards. They don't like year-long cards at all, the new content team. That's why McDavid's a 97, tied with everyone else, or was a 95 for forever, and they just randomly gave an Origins card. I think that the holograms are very mediocre. That's why they don't want people to, they don't want people to make a card, have them in the lineup, and be like, that's it. Which is so weird to me because fantasy is that. Fantasy is the epitome of that. And when you make good old events that are really good, if warp speed cards were in there and you could go back and make them, everyone's team, all warp speed cards. And that's not good for the game, but it's an example of what they're avoiding. And I don't like it because they're doing these events randomly. God of Greats was one, Warp Speed was one, even Sharpshooter to an extent because there was 99 shooting, but if it was done earlier in the year. Great, unbelievable events. Like they were in a vacuum. In the 2-week span they were out, they were the best. Once they're gone, it's like you got to play and get all these cards. If you don't, you're not going to have them. And it's like, then the next event is set up for failure and you don't feel like it, right? But if you could go back and make them be great, that means they can't do events like that. And maybe that's okay. But you should definitely be able to make the old MSPs because people that play the game, in January or July that just started, they should be able to go make players from their favorite team that got MSPs. Bro, my endurance drains 1,000% faster when I play online versus playing offline. It's super noticeable. I might have to record some gameplay to match it. So this could be because you're getting full pressured against. It shouldn't change like offline and online. It shouldn't. I'd love a video side by side. That'd be great. But it could be also you're not factoring in if you get hit with someone with truculence, wipes out half your endurance or half your stamina, right? So there's things that come in that online you probably see more. I pulled a 95J Bowmeister Crowned from the 88 or 89 plus. I don't recall which one it was. Okay. So maybe it's a 1% chance. All right. I think 26 has to bring back, if you miss an event, you go back to make the MSPs. Enough with the FOMO. I loved when I could go back and make old MSPs. I'm with you. It's a mechanic that it sucks that they removed. I don't even know financially how much it would hurt them. I don't. Because it's like they fear making cards too good that people will just go and make them all. Like, I don't get that one. It makes no sense. Perfect example of attributes not matching how cards play. Ovechkin, he's slower than molasses, and he supposedly has 99 acceleration. Yeah, no. This is something that will always blow me away, that people have different experiences. Like, I don't understand how it's happening. Ovechkin is one of my best cards. Like, 99 speed, I notice it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Does anyone else have this? It got 6 likes, which is crazy. But he felt like a 99. I do. Also, GOAT comment follow up here. I heard instead of factoring in speed overall this year, they actually factor in how many beers a player likely crushed before your game. It was in the fine print in a patch, which would explain why Obi's 99 speed skate like he has a terrible hangover. Hope this helps. It's not often, but I pulled a 91 Cousins in a regular pack. Okay. So it's not a 0%, but it is clearly like lower. Like, I've pulled so many closer cards after the event. Like, I'm convinced that we're definitely getting like a crazy amount like afterwards. As someone who has, regrettably, both spent real money and coins on packs, there's no difference in odds. The packs are an outright scam. What EA is doing in HUT with packs and their prices should be illegal, and at a minimum should come with an age restriction gambling warning straight up. I agree. I think all Ultimate Team modes are like that. It's why I don't show pack opening videos on my stream very often, because I used to have a gambling addiction. I'm from I'm from Niagara Falls, the biggest casino in Canada is here. I remember being 19, taking my paycheck, going to cash it, and going to sit at the roulette table with my buddies on Friday night all the way into Saturday morning. Like I did that for a year and a half until I realized I'm gonna ruin my life when I was in college. Like right when I was in college, so I understand like the gambling aspect of it, and what people don't understand is what Ultimate Team does so well. Everyone has a part of their brain that like legitimately gets activated with gambling, like the adrenaline of it. And some people love it. Some people are like, nah, this isn't for me, right? But what packs will do, it isn't gambling in the sense it is far safer gambling because if you don't spend any money, the packs will at least give you something that's like hope that you're gonna pull something. I know kids that play Hut that have spent $2,000 in a season and they don't have the financial capacity to do it, and that's what makes me sad, man. But then it comes back to just don't spend money, have self control. It's like, man, you know, tell someone who smokes, you know, like, hey, get rid of that. You know what I mean? It's an addiction. It's unfortunate. Now, without Ultimate Team, the gaming industry, especially for sports games, is I don't want to say worse because they make less money. That's not what I mean. Less revenue from those games, maybe, then they don't make sports games, or they would make sports games. They don't make as much of an investment in them. Like, I honestly think that would probably happen. If you ran a business and you could make like a Dragon Age, a horrible example, but you know, other games you probably would if it's revenue based, right? That's just how it is. But you know, I don't mind engineering for games for engagement. As someone who does average over 20 games a year, it is disappointing when a new $80 game comes out and it is less than 30 hours of gameplay. For example, I played, beat, and 100% the new Indiana Jones game this year. Took me 30 hours. Still a great game, but much more enjoy games that are challenging like Expedition 33. Engagement, I feel like at least gives me yardage for my dollar. This is what I used to do when I had a job, a normal job, right? I would think in terms of what I pay for the game. So if I bought a game for $100, if I got 100 hours out of it, you know, like that's insane return on value. It's $1 an hour. Like, would you be okay with that? I've bought in games where I've played them for 3 hours and never touched them again. You know, I wouldn't. You know, and that's the unfortunate part. I think that we're just so comfortable with our game that we go to work, we come home, we sit down, everything's day's done. We're like, I know it. It's like we're scared to try new stuff, even in video games now. So we go to what's comfy because we're like, at least I know, even though this won't be amazing, it's not gonna suck, right? Because in the way that you enjoy it, and that's what I feel like the gaming industry does as a whole. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Who Should You Choose, guys. New content coming today. I have a video up my channel going over it. Thank you guys again for watching. See you tomorrow.